We begin tonight with the mass protests from coast to coast. Americans taking to the streets, voicing their frustrations with the policies of the Trump administration and Elon Musk, the world's richest man.
Well, there you have it. Donald Trump effectively hid yesterday from the entire world as millions of fed up and pissed off Americans across the country in more than 1,000 events, demonstrations, and rallies rose up in protest against him and Elon Musk. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, this is stunning. This is excellent, positive, encouraging news. As we discussed in previous videos, the initial reaction to Trump term 2 is very different and was very different to the initial reaction from Trump term 1. After Trump won the first election in 2016, there were protests before his election, before his inauguration, during his inauguration, and after his inauguration. People were pissed. The spark was lit. After the second election, people have been exhausted and demoralized, and understandably so. And it took a few months, but it seems like we're finally starting to see a visceral, appropriate response to the excesses, the authoritarian impulses of this Trump administration. And again, even though organizers initially only expected 500,000, they have now tabulated that millions actually turned up again in more than 1,000 events across the country. As Axios reports, hands off, protesters rally against Trump across the U.S. Millions of hands-off protesters, by organizers' count, took to the streets, state capitals, federal buildings, congressional offices, and city centers to protest the Trump administration on Saturday. Trump's political, economic, social, health, and legal changes have mobilized a wide cross-section of Americans. Quote, "We're seeing estimates go way beyond what was anticipated," organizers told Axios in an email on Saturday. "We had about 2,000 RSVPs for cities like Raleigh, North Carolina, where I live, where we saw 45,000 people show up, orders of magnitude greater. It's stunning." Quote, "DC and NYC are well over 100,000 attendees each." And again, we've got footage of this. This is stunning stuff. The total attendance estimate far surpasses the 500,000 RSVPs organizers counted as of Friday night. More than 1,100 rallies, visibility events, and meetings were scheduled in all 50 states as of Wednesday. Dozens of advocacy organizations are supporting the mass mobilization against Trump policies. Protesters are also rallying against Elon Musk's involvement in the federal government as an unelected official leading DOGE. And again, the anticipated protest prompted the White House to reschedule its Saturday Spring Garden tour. So even the White House is reacting to this. And Trump, who's usually very eager to be in front of cameras, is hiding away in Florida, golfing and watching golf instead. Stunning stuff. The BBC spoke to a protester. Asked if she thought that Trump was receiving the protesters' message, she said, quote, "Well, let's see. Trump has been golfing just about every day. Trump has held no public events on Saturday and spent the day golfing at a resort he owns in Florida. He was scheduled to play golf again on Sunday." So he's just trying to hide and trying to ride this thing out. We'll see what happens. Friend of the show and host of Secular Talk and Crystal and Kyle and Friends, Kyle Kalinske, shared this. Just again, screenshots of it. Boston, New York, Chicago, Portland, San Francisco, San Diego, Idaho, Utah, Oakland, and so many more. I mean, the turnout is stunning. This clip from New York City, just look at this. How people are just packed down the streets as far as the eye can see, looking almost like ants right on a log from such a distance. But stunning, legions of people. You hear that? They are pissed. People are pissed, and understandably so. This is Chicago. Third biggest city in the country. Stunning, stunning stuff. Anti-Trump protests hit cities worldwide in pictures. Let them eat Teslas. Make America normal again. MAGA, morons are governing America. Then you have people dressed as almost like in the Handmaid's Tale costumes before the Washington Monument. A Trump flag. Trump still sucks. Indeed he does. People wearing umbrellas in inclement weather. Know your parasites. Deer tick, dog tick, lunatic. Picture of Donald Trump. Hands off. Look at this. Stunning stuff. Oh, yeah. And of course here, it's labeled, right? So Again, obviously, the National Mall in D.C., outside the Washington Monument, St. Paul, Minnesota here, protest in New York with the umbrellas, Miami, Florida with the parasite sign. Again, another St. Paul picture. Rehoboth Beach, which is where President Biden vacations in Delaware. And that's Trump MAGA, what are you doing to my democracy of 2.5 centuries, with a picture of a very pissed off President Washington. A protest in Huntington Beach, California, shows Vladimir Putin, Donald Trump, and Elon Musk. Ventura, California, Veterans Against Fascism. Can't read this particular sign, but it's looks like a gay man holding up a protest sign against Trump. Protest in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Hey, not too far from my neck of the woods when I was living in Kentucky. Protest outside the Michigan capital of Lansing, Michigan. Yet another D.C. Houston, Texas, hands off our democracy. Stamford, Connecticut. Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Miami, Florida. Wow, a protest in Berlin, Germany. A protest in Paris, France. Okay, so folks, I mean, we're a protest in central London. Wow, okay, so it was even a misnomer for me to say that this is national. This is international. As Time reports, protesters across the U.S. rally against Trump and Musk. Stop destroying America. Protesters across the U.S., and again, now we know globally, came together on Saturday, April 5th for a nationwide hands-off protest, demonstrating resistance against the actions of Donald Trump and his Department of Government Efficiency lead, Tesla CEO Elon Musk. The Trump administration and Musk have notably spent the first few weeks of Trump's presidency working to, quote, reduce waste through mass government layoffs and the termination of contracts. There's even been an attempt to dismantle the Department of Education. A child attending a protest in Atlanta was pictured holding a banner that reads, "Hands off my education." Cities across the globe mobilized for their own hands-off protest, with various grassroots advocacy groups prioritizing concerns such as LGBTQ rights, immigrant rights, and climate activism. Wow. The demands of the protest, according to instructions from Hands Off, called for an end to the billionaire takeover at the Trump administration, as well as an end to the slashing of funds for Medicaid, Social Security, and other programs, and, quote, an end to the attacks on immigrants, trans people, and other communities. On the day, protesters also referenced Trump's moves to dismantle climate action and the cutting of federal funding for certain health programs. Addressing the subject of the mass April 5th protest, White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt was quoted as telling USA Today in a statement, quote, anyone who thinks protests, lawsuits, and lawfare will deter Donald Trump must have been sleeping under a rock for the past several years. Trump will not be deterred from delivering on the promises he made to keep our federal government more efficient and more accountable to the hardworking American taxpayers across the country who overwhelmingly elected him. I don't know what she means by overwhelmingly. Again, this peddled this lie. Trump didn't even win a majority of the vote. He won a plurality. More people voted against him than voted for him. And if that's a overwhelming majority, then the ass kicking that Trump got from President Biden in 2020 is an avalanche by comparison. Meanwhile, in a statement issued to the Associated Press, the White House said Trump's position is clear. He will always protect Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid for eligible beneficiaries. Meanwhile, the Democrats' stance is giving Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare benefits to illegal aliens, which will bankrupt these programs and crush American seniors. Of course, that's not true. Undocumented migrants are not eligible to receive Social Security benefits. Social Security is one of the most efficiently run and overwhelmingly popular government programs in the history of the federal government, and they have failed to substantiate their claims time and time and time again. But that's a Republican Party for you. Stunning stuff, folks. It really is. It's really encouraging. Let's take a look here at the New York Times on it. Mass protests across the country show resistance to Trump. Demonstrators packed in the streets in cities and towns to rail against government cutbacks, financial turmoil, and what they viewed as attacks on democracy. Demonstrators had no shortage of causes as they gathered in towns and cities across the country on Saturday to protest Trump's agenda. Rallies were planned in all 50 states, and images posted on social media showed dense crowds in places as diverse as St. Augustine, Florida, Salt Lake City, and Frankfort, Kentucky. Again, the capital of Kentucky, my former state. Quote, pouring rain, 43 degrees, biting wind, and people are still here in Albany in the thousands, said Ron Mars, a comic book writer who posted a photo of the crowd at the New York State Capitol on X. While crowd sizes are difficult to estimate, organizers said that more than 600,000 people had signed up to participate and that events took place in U.S. territories and a dozen locations across the globe. And again, as the events went on, the estimates then breached the millions. Millions of people, according to estimates, turned out to protest Donald Trump across the country. Trump, who was playing golf on Florida on Saturday, appeared to be largely ignoring the protests. hiding from them, cowardly. The White House did not immediately respond to a request for comment. So, folks, this is what I mean. Donald Trump is hiding as millions upon millions of pissed off, fed up Americans are finally rising up in protest. And again, not just across the country in red states, blue states, big cities, small towns, but also apparently the globe itself. And there's a real opportunity here. Democrats need to get their shit together. When I say Democrats, I do mean elected Democrats to help lead and organize. People like AOC, Cory Booker, Sheldon Whitehouse, Maxwell Frost, Jasmine Crockett, everybody in between, and their surrogates in the media really need to get their shit together and continue to push and encourage. There's a real momentum here. It was delayed. We didn't see it initially after the election or at the inauguration or in the aftermath, but this could be the mobilizing, galvanizing force that we've been waiting for, and we would be fools to squander it. So this is awesome. We should celebrate it, take heart, and hope that this is the beginning of meaningful resistance to the Trump administration and its authoritarian excesses. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.